What's going on, guys? Aarava here, and welcome back to the Pitlane podcast. I'm not actually too sure what episode this is, but we're in a bit of a different location, as you can see. I mean, we're in person for a start. We're not on webcams. That's a change. So yeah, it's a kind of odd situation, but you know, myself, Callum, and Tom are here together in person. So we thought we'd record the podcast now. This is why USA wasn't out immediately after the race. I was also in Sweden then, so I couldn't even watch the race straight away on Sunday. But we're going to do a little recap of the USA Grand Prix, review that, and then kind of look at any kind of stories. Obviously, the Toro Rosso one's a big thing. And then kind of look into Mexico. There's also been some stuff with Williams and the whole Massa, Kubica, the rest, everyone and above testing for Williams. So we'll talk about that. But let's get into USA then. Obviously, Hamilton, again, winning the thing and pretty much putting the nail on the coffin because now it's first place. If Vettel gets first place, Hamilton has to come lowest fifth place, which is, you got to say, pretty slam dunk.
No, I don't think that. I think it doesn't matter. If Hamilton finishes fifth, regardless of what Seb does, he wins.
Well,
Either way, he's going to win.
Either way.
Matter.
As in, like, even if Seb won and he came fifth.
Yeah. So
it's kind of sad that is, thinking about it. The fact that how many races we've got left? Three?
Three.
Obviously, the amount of times that we've gone, oh, come on, can we at least keep pushing it? Every single time we've said that, it's got worse.
Yeah,
I think I started it, to be honest. I feel partly responsible.
Yeah, you are. It's all your fault.
I've sort of just jinxed it a bit. So I think I just want to see a good race. Like USA was a good race. Same again, really. Just let's try and have some good races to round off the season. Really, that's about it.
Well, yeah, we said the same thing pretty much last 2-3 podcasts. Pretty much just been like as sort of like. I mean, you're a Hamilton fan, but you're also not like a huge fanboy. No. And obviously you have a little affinity to Ferrari, but not that much. So it's like we're pretty much all almost just wanting good races at the end of the day. So hopefully Mexico can provide. Obviously last season it was a bit of a slow burner actually. It did get very, very tasty obviously towards the end with the whole Vettel and both Red Bull cars, but it was a little bit of a slow burner in the middle. Was kind of controversial at the beginning because it was Hamilton, it cut across the grass.
And Rosberg as well.
That was a little bit odd.
There'll be no more of that this year though.
No with speed bumps and everything. But
to
be fair, thinking about it, I forgot how good the ending of last year's race was.
Fantastic.
Like, it properly got all of us on edge with Vettel and his language.
I mean,
rather profound language actually.
It actually ties in quite nice because obviously at the end of that race there was the infamous Verstappen being told in the pre-podium room that he had to step down to Seb to go up, and the same thing happened in the last race, which sort of ties on quite nicely to
that's actually
the next tasty topic. Obviously, we didn't do a podcast straight after the USA, so I think this is like the first time we're properly debating this. So I think we all agree here.
I think so.
We agree with the decision from the stewards.
Yeah.
It might not be the most popular thing, but we agree that he cut the corner to gain an advantage.
I think before we actually go into it, track limits was a joke all weekend.
The entire weekend.
Verstappen himself had already gone miles wide at the penultimate corner in his qualifying lap, and apparently that wasn't gaining an advantage.
Yeah.
You leave the track to gain an advantage. Otherwise you wouldn't be leaving the track. You'd find grip on the track and you'd be fine.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he cut the corner to overtake Raikkonen. To be fair, I'm surprised Raikkonen even let him through. I thought there'd be contact between the two of them.
Yeah.
Because especially with the camera angle, it just looked like they were going to come together.
Super
But
tight.
the fact that, to be fair, I respect the fact that they wanted to rush a decision. Obviously, they didn't allow Verstappen to prove his point, but he just cut the corner, so no one can really say anything about it.
No, the steward's message is always left the track and gained an advantage. The fact he left the track is not the issue; it's the fact he actually gained an advantage because he passed another car. So I think, all in all, that was the right decision. Obviously, consistency was rubbish. I think we're all looking forward to the driver briefing from Mexico video on the YouTube channel. But I think Verstappen, though, all week long, he needs to let it go. He's really dragging it out big time.
Obviously, it's a lot of adrenaline, like just coming out the race. You just got handed that kind of news, so it's kind of really raw for him. I think that maybe pissed off a lot of people generally. Not even just the fact that it happened so quick. Yeah. Almost like there was no. I don't know. I'm playing devil's advocate a little bit, but maybe some people felt like it happened so quick that maybe they just didn't think hard enough about the decision. But I think they did, and they were doing it for the case of so many times we've had. Last season especially, where there's been a penalty after the race, and it's been sometimes like 2-3 hours, and it's like a joke.
That is a joke,
you know, casual fans aren't going to understand why they've gone to a race, they've watched it, then they've gone away from the track, and then 3 hours
Yeah, and
later
then
there's a
it's
decision.
changed.
Obviously,
Yeah.
even now with the Verstappen thing, I saw some tweets about like, I think there was like a dad who was like, oh, my kid stayed up with me to watch the USA Grand Prix, then went to bed straight after the race thinking Verstappen was on the podium.
Yeah.
But
I'm
they
happy.
tried their fastest. At least it was there for the podium sequence, which is really good because we've seen instances in the past where it's
Yeah.
like the guy on the podium doesn't end up getting the actual
Awkward,
trophy.
isn't it? Yeah.
Like cough
all,
Mexico last
all really
year.
happy. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the thing. It links well with. It's also as well with Verstappen going over, like boiling over a little bit. It links literally to last year, where obviously Vettel boiling over. Like it happens, yeah, but you need to be able to say pretty much straight away that you were in the wrong. Like you can't
Yeah.
sit there and accept that, especially as well when someone's certain dad is always beefing on Twitter, like tweeting out Ferrari international assistance or whatever it was. That is out of order.
That tweet has still not been deleted, I don't think.
Oh my god, that's just so bad.
It's just...
Like I can understand why he's annoyed, but
Was it actually his account? Like, because I was in Sweden, so I didn't know what was going on.
I'm dubious of it, to be honest with you. I'm not 100% convinced.
I don't think it's his account.
I'm not convinced.
It's not his account. It can't be.
I've never seen him have an account before. But if it is,
I have no idea. Like, I'm just going off what you two are saying. I did see other people tweeting
Yeah.
about it, so I had no idea. Like,
I don't
either
know.
way,
I'm not sure. I'm like 55-45 leaning towards it's not his account. But
because if I remember correctly,
You
it
never
wasn't
know.
like his Twitter handle wasn't like Jos Verstappen or anything
it
like
was
that.
something else.
So that's what I'm
yeah.
saying. Like, that's why I think maybe.
It had a link,
You know,
but either way, like you can probably that was probably still the reaction.
I mean,
by
still,
it.
it was quite funny.
Yeah.
In the
Oh
end,
yeah.
like,
That's the thing. You always like it when people
little
call
bit of
out
mean.
sport.
That's mean.
But it's I don't know. It's not even like a bad incident. Because even like Christian Horner was still like, oh yeah, but what about everyone else? Like, because I think when Bottas was fighting Ricardo,
he went off.
He went, oh well, there's
Exit turn
Bottas
one.
going off, and he's gained an advantage. It's just like
Exit turn 1. That was like, I watched the highlights back and I was like, hang on, wait, he's just
Yeah.
stayed ahead of Ricardo.
At the
How's
start.
that legal?
Vettel.
Yeah.
When he went on the inside of Hamilton, he went off the track.
Yeah.
So technically, if
I
that
mean,
was a normal racing manoeuvre, that he'd have
Bottas
to go
was
back.
even worse. Like, he stayed ahead of Ricardo and he was literally like 2 curbings inside the curb,
Yeah.
and he still stayed ahead for the initial fight. So that was just very odd to watch back. Kind of like, okay, so I didn't really watch much of the build up because I knew I was going to miss the race. So it's kind of like, okay, I guess the stewards just kind of gave a little lax.
The thing is, though,
loose
as well, is a lot of people might say just the solution is, oh, why didn't you just go back to how it was then? Or just if you go outside the white lines, you've got to give it back. But we had some good hard racing by having the drivers push the limits. Like all the battles, like, for example, we'll go with Ricardo and Bottas going off the track, forcing each other off. It's good. I like it. It's raw racing. And I can only speak for myself. I thought that was one of the races of the season just because of the amount of overtakes, like the hard battling. Like I know it was a slow burner in some parts, but we even got a battle between Hamilton and
the
Vettel.
actual overtakes were good. Like,
Yeah.
Carlos Sainz move.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, I can't believe Crofty wasn't like on edge.
First time in that Renault,
The
and he's
two
pulling
best
moves
moves
like
of the
that.
race. Sainz was the best one, and the second best move was Vettel on Bottas around the outside, trying
Yeah.
Van Dorn on the right hand side. That was a great move.
I still can't get my head over Bottas though in that situation. It was such a poor defensive. It was just like, oh yeah, just come around me outside then. It's fine.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that. But that was quite smart from Vettel. But no, just with like I love the overtakes. It just proper. It had an older sort of vibe to it.
They had to work hard for them. Like we said this at the start of the season, around China, for example. It was hard to overtake, so when they got the chance, they just had to really
Dive it.
go in there and commit to
Neck
it. Good, tough, hard racing. I think I've seen a lot of comments about the whole track limit situation, because obviously now pretty much everything is like tarmac, asphalt, like runoffs. But obviously, if it was gravel, they wouldn't be doing it.
What Verstappen's one, he went on the red painted tarmac.
No, but for example,
if that
say
was
it's
grass,
qualifying from
it wouldn't
corner
have-
extend, he would have just been the gravel. Them sort of extends, they could be like limited to an extent. So then when Verstappen does do what he did during the race on Kimi Raikkonen, then it's just a cut because he was outside of all 4 wheels of the white lines.
I think it's a good argument even with the grass though. You would not be able to make that position.
deters you from doing it. So
well, they're wanting to come up with like solutions. I think I saw Will Buxton say a load about like they need to put something like some sort of slippery surface, just like a thin strip around the edge of the track. So it's not like a ice rink. Like they don't have like a massive ice rink. So marshals are safe. Have like a little just a tiny strip that will spin the rear tyre up and deter drivers from going away. But we've had that with AstroTurf. We've had it with literally everything, like massive curbs. Drivers will still exploit it. Like
they can do, yeah. If they can do, they will do.
Yeah, if they can go out there. That's the only reason. Like, we can't hate on the drivers for it, because they're just...
in their nature, they're going to push as hard as you can to find any sort of time, really. So
it's like fair enough, isn't it? And people can slate drivers for it. They're just going to argue, well, I'm just being paid to go as fast as I can.
Yeah.
You can't argue against it. But I don't know. I don't think we're going to have any track limits problem in Mexico.
No, not as much as USA, but I mean, away from that, as it seems like maybe that's the main topic of the race. But yeah, like we were saying, just generally from what even I saw from the highlights, just the highlight video on YouTube, seemed like a really decent race. A lot of lovely moves. Like I said, with Sainz, that his entire weekend was so impressive. First time in that Renault,
really, really good.
Felt comfortable. I guess that moves us on to the final kind of driver in a new car sort of situation. Toro Rosso boys obviously was a very weird situation. That's going to bleed us over into the topic of Toro Rosso as a whole for the rest of the season. So going to USA, it was Hartley and Dan Kvyat in the car. Yep. Gasly obviously contesting Super Formula. The ironic thing is, he never contested because it got rained out, which is so annoying. But that's another story. So Hartley, for his first time in the F1 car, I feel like he did okay. Not amazing.
Yeah, he did well.
He did okay. I would say.
He was on pace. He
finished the race.
Away,
He got the checker flag and everything. But does he deserve that seat over Kvyat? Because Kvyat scored points.
He scored
after
points.
2 races.
And so going to the rest of the season now, it's been confirmed Kvyat will no longer be racing at Toro Rosso.
He's done with Toro Rosso.
Well, he's done with Red Bull. Yeah. He's done with Red Bull. But he's not going to be racing there. So it's going to be Hartley and Gasly then. Probably, I would assume, to the end of the season, unless they replace Hartley with someone else that I've not heard of.
Some other random person.
So it's because I'll admit, I'm the first to admit, I've been very critical of that Russian.
Yeah, well, we all have.
But as a person, on a human level, that is so harsh to be messed around like that, so mentally, like on and off switch of like, you've got a job this weekend, you've not got a job this weekend.
It's kind of sad that.
The more I look at the stat, the more it hurts me the fact he outscored Ricciardo in 2015.
Yeah, to be fair,
it's just absolutely mental. The more you think about it, the more you just think to yourself, what's happened here? 2 bits of contact with Sebastian Vettel, and all of a sudden something's just
it's
taken out a massive downward spiral.
Well, that's the thing. It's not the points. I don't think it's his ability, because his ability is there. It's the fact that he's just got a crap attitude. His attitude sucks to the point where, I think even after USA, he was a bit like, he wasn't humble about it. He wasn't. Every question was, "Are you going to be racing next week?" And I think he wasn't very. He didn't display himself very well.
You don't expect him. I don't think you would expect him to. I mean, after everything that's happened, I think.
Yeah, fair enough.
You see drivers, for example, whenever they've had a bad race, or for example, I remember Ricciardo after Monaco last year, they do throw their toys out the pram sometimes. So I don't think that's totally. I think they can be human and express that sort of human side sometimes. And I think with Kvyat, I think he's more than entitled to do so. I mean, that guy. I feel bad. I do feel bad for the guy. At least let him finish the season. At least, and let him know that he can race the end of the season.
Give him till the end. Give him to the end of the season.
It's the fact. It's just now going forward, isn't it? What sort of lineup will Toro Rosso have next year? Because obviously it will undoubtedly be Gasly.
Sure.
If Hartley gets a few races under his belt, it could be a driver next season. And I mean, that would be a weird story.
Such an odd story to say. He used to be there, basically got fired,
and
then went to LMP1, Porsche. Been doing that for basically his entire career now.
He's still got to finish the season. He's still got races to do
F1. And now he's just jumping into this world of F1.
So it's come full circle.
Basically, I think he's doing basically every Sunday now to the end of the season. He's got a race, whether it's F1 or
that's stacked.
Or Porsche.
Racing Sundays, that's taking it to the next level. That is, but now I'm just thinking about it next season. If then again he might prove us wrong, but he had an okay weekend. He was quite far behind Kvyat, who obviously, but even he had 2 races out, so. He won't be at peak performance, but it's just the fact that they've got to fill a hole where Sainz left off, and that's a massive, massive hole.
Well, I think.
Speaking of holes, Alan Prost was Sainz is filling a huge
Yeah,
hole that
I
we
know
had
what
in our
you're
team.
gonna
So from one hole to another hole, filling the other hole in Renault.
No chill at all.
Yeah, that was straight. That was like low key, really savage from Frost. Just there was a huge hole in the team, and he's filled it.
Yeah.
It's just mad that he jumped straight into the team and he matched Hulkenberg straight away, and he scored. Where was it? 6th.
Yeah, obviously Hulkenberg had a retirement, and maybe his engine.
He had nothing to take away from Hulkenberg.
I mean, in Q1, I think that's one of the tweets was like they were both pretty much literally matched in pace on Q1.
Yeah.
So to be straight like that in Q1, that's like only real direct thing.
Yeah, Q2 obviously didn't.
I've noticed, if you notice all the driver changes in the last 2 years, I can't tell if F1's a challenge anymore or drivers are just really good, because like Verstappen, when he jumped from Toro to Red Bull, won the first race he ever raced with. Like, Sainz absolutely bossed the Renault first time I'm asking. Hartley perfectly settled into the Toro Rosso. Gasly, when he did his first race at Malaysia, had no issues. It's like, are these drivers really good, or is F1 just not that hard to really adapt to anymore? Like anyone could drive it. Obviously, to get to the top level, like to be really good, you have to be a certain cut. But to be an average driver, like a Maldonado or something, do you have to be that good?
I think for Gasly, it's a case of he's been prepared for it so long, because he did GP2, Super Formula. He's done tests for Red Bull, so I think for him it's like, he's already kind of really used to it, and that's one of those things where so many times now for F1 drivers coming in, a lot of them now have had way too prolonged
they've been
waiting, so they are really prepared.
Like Ocon last season as well, when he came in for Manor as well, that's another one.
Yeah, he hit the ground running.
I mean, Sainz obviously, he's a very good driver, and car to car, I wouldn't expect maybe. That's what you kind of said. There's little nuances to maybe get used to, but I don't think it would be majorly different car to car.
But rank them about the same in the middle.
But then new drivers, obviously I think Verstappen's obviously a different case, because he has got a lot of talent behind him. Other drivers though, I don't know. I mean, we've seen this year, January in 2017, like
JB came in at Monaco. I know he's got experience, but what I'm saying is that anyone can just come into the car and just do a job. It seems like. But
I think it's a case of maybe, I think now these days drivers are just all a lot fitter as well. Like they're proper athletes now, rather than just drivers who are maybe strong in terms of strength. But like now these guys are literally top flight athletes in their own right. So I think they're all kind of fit enough just to drive the car. And instead, I mean, they still have to do a lot of training. I mean, you saw Hamilton was like out of breath at Spain and stuff like that. So I think as you've seen it, we've not seen Hamilton ever out of breath now. This is, I think they're getting used to it. They're getting to that new level where it's like, okay, we're used to these G-forces now.
Yeah, because obviously that was the main talking point coming into the season. Where all this, no one's speaking about it now. Yeah. No one really cares. But it's an interesting question, because the only person really can base it on is Hartley. But you've got to. I suppose that just goes down to all the simulator work, like the amount of hours they spend in the simulator. Obviously, the only thing it's not simulating is the G-forces, but that's it. Literally, they know them cars back to front. They can spend an entire day and they'll be already up to speed with it. So, but with drivers like Sainz and Verstappen moving here and there and just hitting the ground running, I think it just goes to show how good they are. I think how well prepared they are, because a couple of years ago, you'd have a driver come in and you would see how bad he was. Like, I think it was
Luca Bador.
Yeah, that's exact him in 2009.
It's a different case. He was never a talent.
He never had the spark.
No, at all. That's why he always drove from Minardi.
No, but like that's the thing. Even when Fisichella got in that Ferrari in 2009, he was shy. Like he didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So I think it stepped up recently. Yeah, it was. Yeah, to be fair, he was getting quite old. But to be fair, it's an interesting question though. And
literally, anyone can just hop into an F1 car and drive with a few laps.
We might be alright. We could just hop in.
I mean, their simulators are basically, they seem pretty similar to R Factor.
Pretty much.
So
it's exactly the same, really. But yeah, I think. What else is there to discuss?
Toro Rosso, so we kind of covered that then. I guess kind of on the same line, drivers. Obviously, Williams has been a point of contention. Just before we get to kind of previewing shortly the Mexican Grand Prix and kind of giving our predictions. So Williams, obviously, they're in a bit of a pickle really in terms of what they do, and it's basically a toss-up between they're deciding between keeping Massa or going for kind of the outside shot, which is Kvyat, or Di Resta, who was in for Hungary, or
curiously, I've got a big talking point over this, which hasn't been mentioned that much. No mention for Pascal Wehrlein.
very interesting.
I did get tweeted though, literally like 2 days ago though, that there was apparently like a little rumor that Pascal was trying. Pascal's trying to talk to Mercedes to kind of be like, come on lads, like okay, if they're going to kick me out to make the Ferrari B team, then come on, can you please help me out and let's sweeten the deal up with Williams maybe.
I still can't believe he got 8th place in Spain this year.
Yeah.
Considering how bad that car's been, it makes it even more remarkable how he got that.
And of all tracks as well.
I still, maybe a little bit, I still think he's got something to show. It'll be really unfortunate.
Well, out of the options Williams have on the table, he might be the best one. I think.
Fair,
I would agree in terms of potential as well, like room to grow.
Yeah. Well, how old is he now?
21, 20.
He's
21, 22.
He's still really young.
Is his birthday? No, I think he's 23. It's his birthday the other day. 23.
Oh, so 23.
Right, yeah.
23.
So that's still
that's still
young.
Yeah.
But
I'm baffled. I understand the Stroll thing, but I mean, Massa beats him every race. I don't know why you'd get rid of. It makes no sense to me.
What, Stroll? It's just the money, really.
I know, but
because Williams aren't, as much as Williams chat a lot, they're not really a huge team anymore, so they need that funding.
No, they have their peaks and then they spend it all and then they struggle.
Huge troughs. So
no, to be fair, if you put it on the table like Paul di Resta,
like with Pitlane also, like apparently next year's a big year for Williams. They're like planning something big. This is the fact Pitlane arrived. That next year is going to be one where they try and do something. Like they brought a lot of staff in. Yeah. So I mean, you think they want to bring in an ambitious driver to like really make something happen.
One point though is for Robert is he's got apparently large backing from Polish like fuel suppliers or like oil. I think I read. So he's like personal sponsors that are gonna back him. So that could be an in of like, okay, obviously we know from the tests he's done in that Renault as well, Hungary especially, that he was very quick to actually get up towards the pace of the pack.
So it's another example of like drivers just hopping into a car and doing pace.
Yeah, he just jumped straight into like that 20. Did he do a bit of running in the 2012 Lotus? Yeah, he's another example. To be fair,
Norris
the rest of that.
Norris hopped in the F1 car for the first time and just
and pretty much nailed it. Yeah,
like everyone seems to just be able to hop into a front car. Like maybe like
I think it's just preparation. Right? Honestly, I do get what you mean. I think maybe that's the struggle with F1 these days. Last few years now, kind of convincing the public that these cars are still very, very difficult to drive.
I think what you would notice the difference is for a full race distance. Like the casual one would drop off, like you said, the fitness thing. But like if there's like a 10-lap sprint, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, any like in that sense, like when you go to any sort of like even lower category session. Even like lower category motorsports, like a member of the public could hop in and like drive it probably fine without having any issues with the neck or anything like that, or
do 56 laps.
Would struggle at that pace and keeping it. But yeah, no, like I said, he's got backing. So that for me at the moment, looking at all the cards, I think the two favourites got to be either Verline or Kubica, and it's like then it's a case of are they going to go for short term, really decent shot with Robert or Pascal, which is okay, maybe just about the same, but he's got potential to grow. But also he's had his on and offs. Like sometimes he just doesn't perform. Maybe don't know.
I think for them, I think they should just go for a shot in the dark and get Kubica. Really,
that's like, and I just think now another driver, the rest that drove the 2017 car as well. This he just jumped straight in.
Yeah,
makes you realise how many people have actually driven this year's cars in like a one-off occasion.
Yeah. To be fair though, of all the people, he was the most meh.
Yeah, you could see but his was different though because he jumped straight in at qualifying.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair play.
You can see in Q1 was his practice, and he went out with like a heavy fuel and it was just pounding around.
He was improving every single lap, but okay, that's probably unfair on him, but. Yeah, he never had anything at Force India though. He was never someone that you thought, oh, he's a good driver. He was just a bit.
I mean, Adrian Sutil was nothing special, and if you can't really put the hammer down against him, then you're probably nothing special.
Honestly, I really do think Kubica should get a season, or literally just put him in for one race. That's what they seem to love to do this season.
Try out then this season.
Just put him in a race because it's weird because like
Massa.
Well, I don't know because it's like the way that Massa's come back now. He wants to stay again. It's like. He's kind of, oh no, don't kick me out. Come on, I know I was on my way out already, but
that is weird considering his exit last season. Yeah, it's like, come on, man.
It just goes to show how these cars are, what they mean to drivers.
Yeah,
I mean, they say you should never retire until you fully know. Like Jenson was talking after promoting his book. He was saying they say you should, decide when you retire when you think it's time, and then try one more season after you've decided, just to make sure. Because once you retire, generally you're not coming back.
Yeah.
It's like literally Massa and Button were the two that were the odd ones.
Button was one race, but Massa was almost like it was almost not really like a forward timing because like straight away after the season they were like still being like he could still be called back though.
Yeah,
because it was very apparent as soon as the season ended that Williams basically had no kind of driver lineup ready because straight away Bottas to Mercedes was kind of put in the hat.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I guess now we'll move on to predictions for the Mexican Grand Prix. Obviously, this is the one where Hamilton can win the title, and basing off what he's kind of said and obviously how he's performed, I've just got to go for it. Pole Hamilton.
Yeah, I have to agree on Hamilton.
Yeah, I'm going to try and reverse jinx it, so I want to say Hamilton, see if maybe...
reverse jinx.
It's still not going to work.
Okay, reverse jinx. Top 5, I'm going to go for Hamilton, Vettel 2nd, Raikkonen 3rd, Verstappen 4th, Bottas 5th.
I'm trying to work out how good Red Bull will be.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Because they've been weird recently.
I'm going for the stab and just say Verstappen will be able to drag that car.
Because Japan, they were there, and then 2 weeks on, they weren't anywhere. Like they were miles off. But I'll probably go.
Verstappen's on 16th.
I'll probably go Hamilton, Bottas, Vettel,
Bottas, interesting.
Verstappen, Ricciardo. What a basic.
Vettel, Verstappen, Hamilton, Raikkonen, Ricciardo.
Okay.
I've just realised that most of my predictions never feature Kimi.
I think
I never have a Kimi in my.
He had a good race last time though.
Yeah, and he did have a good race.
That's why I put him in the top 3 because
I think Hamilton will bag pole and he'll run comfortable, but I think he'll also be happy to not take any major risks. Like normally, like, you know, when he's like in front, he plays with the gap around 1 second. I think this time he'll be like happy to just maybe let the car pass him if you can see that he's under no threat.
Something that we have been hoping for like ages now is for all top 6 to not retire.
Yeah.
Because cause I think it was Ricciardo who was the one that was looking quite interested in USA, and then he retired.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm hoping for, to be honest. It's literally just a top 6 to actually go at it, because I can't remember the last time that top 6.
I'm looking forward to Ricciardo dive into turn 1.
Yeah, well,
Hopefully
on Bottas again.
Yeah,
he seems to do it on Bottas all the time.
Yeah.
No, he just like goes towards like, he's going to move out.
Yeah, bye.
Monza last year, this year at Monza again.
And
USA last race.
Yeah,
he's got his number.
Yeah, I think Ricciardo did a dive or two and shot back and shot not on Bottas, but just dives generally. Yeah. Obviously, we know how good a dive bomb Ricciardo master is.
Will Harley get their first point in F1?
I hope Gasly can. I just want to get on the board just so it's kind of like, because obviously he's had pretty decent races to say it's his first 2, but I just want to. I'm a fan of his. I want him to do well, so hopefully he does get.
And obviously Perez, he's in his home race, so therefore he'll probably retire.
Don't say that. That's what I mean.
Sound logic.
Some logic. There is some logic.
Every home race never ends well. Like whereas Hamilton in Britain it always ends well, but other than that, they don't seem to go that well.
F1 generally is not a fairy tale sport.
No,
we've seen so many times where like last races. It's going to be so magical. Jenson had that suspension issue.
Massa did nothing special.
Coulthard had that crash did he in Brazil.
It's always Brazil. Thinking about it, because Buddy Barrichello, the amount of times he crashed at his own Grand Prix. Yeah. Like bloody hell.
Yeah, so, just generally not a fairy tale sport. It's a harsh sport. It's a harsh sport. But I think that's where we call it then, guys. So hopefully you have enjoyed this kind of different dynamic of in-person one. You know, I think we all enjoyed doing this. You know, we'd say like, you know, the ideal situation is we could do something like this for the podcast every week. Obviously, Tom lives in Spain, and on top of that, internet issues for him, and then also at the same time, you two have work generally on the weekends, so especially this last half year has been very tough for the podcast. But hopefully you have enjoyed this kind of version of it. And you know, if you did, hit that like button. Let us know what you thought in the comments below of anything we talked about. And if you're new around here, do get subscribed to this channel for the podcast. Check out these 2 links. Will be on the screen right now in front of us. I would say above, but they're not. They're going to be in front of us right now on screen to our Twitter, and their channels will be in the description. But that's been the Pitlane podcast for the USA Grand Prix and the Mexican one. Hope you guys enjoyed this kind of second off, because we did it in Silverstone, obviously. So second time we've done it.
This one was more professional.
Very more.
A little bit more.
A lot of us hated us for Silverstone, but this one we actually.
Well, this one we're not drinking. We're having some H2O.
H2O. Drink responsibly.
We're being professional here, so as professional as we can be in a bloody living room in a house. So we'll see you guys next time. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.